guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and this is my 6-month review of my 2017 991.2 base Carrera with a manual transmission. Now, I figured instead of just me talking to you from the car, I should do a driving review. We'll go over, has this car been reliable? How are the wear and tear items doing? Why I chose this car, and market values. So, I wasn't really looking for a base 991.2. I kind of fell into it. I wanted a Miami Blue manual, and I didn't really care if it was a base S, GTS. The 991.2s in Miami Blue GT3s were definitely out of my price range. They were still, if you want a cool color, about $165,000. Maybe if you want an average color, black or silver, a popular color, maybe $145,000, somewhere in that range. Fantastic car. I test drove a Miami Blue, and it was phenomenal. But I think the dealer wanted a sticker, even though it was used, original sticker, which was about $165,000. Saw some GTSs that were in the $110,000 to $115,000 range. Miami Blue probably adds at least $10,000. I think it was only a $3,500 option in 2017, but it adds on the resale market at least $10,000. Some dealers even want $15,000 if it's a Miami Blue, especially if it's a manual transmission, because most are PDK. I don't think the S's were about 100, 105, and I stumbled across this with 8,000 miles CPO from a Porsche dealer for 75 grand, so I bought it. Plus, they gave me like an extra 6,000 for my Audi S8 trade-in. Other dealers, while I was looking to trade the S8, were offering me substantially lower, so I really won on both ends of the spectrum. So what do I love about this car? The manual transmission, that is my favorite part. I sold the McLaren last year and wanted to get back, even though all my other cars are manual, wanted to get back into manual. And let me tell you something, this is way more fun than my 570S because I feel like I'm doing something. On these drives, I go up and down through the gear, have to heel toe downshift, and it's if I feel involved in the driving experience. The 570S is phenomenal, but the car is so good, even though it doesn't have the aero, the 720S, that you don't feel like you're doing much. You feel that the car is plenty capable without you. And on these kind of drives, very rarely did I get to accelerate. Maybe for a second here, a second there, because the car was so fast. Our drives are all in the hills, so there's really no straightaways. All right, so I wasn't really looking for a base car, but I kind of stumbled across this. It had everything I wanted, except it was a base. It was a manual transmission, sport exhaust, sport seats, other cool stuff like heated and cooled seats, a sunroof, which I think I've used once. It's hard to talk and drive at the same time. So I wasn't looking for a base. I test drove all of them. GTS, of course, gives you the Sport Chrono and the Sport Exhaust Standard. All 991.2s have PASM Standard. I'm using PASM right now, but I rarely use it. It's really more for the track. I don't notice that much of a difference in handling, and the rod gets stiffer. So typically I keep it off. It still handles great where I don't need to have the PASM. I've test driven the S and the GTS, and they definitely have more power and are quicker, but the turbos are bigger. Basically, it's the same 3-liter flat 6, except bigger turbos. So what happens is you just get more turbo lag to get that extra power. Always look out your left window, look ahead on the turn, and that's what gets you through it. If you see race car drivers, they're really looking at that next turn. Now 911s give you great rear grip, but not much front end grip. So what you really have to do is you really have to align yourself perfect going in the corner so you can use that rear end grip coming out of the corner. And a lot of times I'll trail brake a little bit to get some more grip on the front. So I've driven the GTS, I told you, in the S, more power, but I didn't like the turbo lag. Now this drives more naturally aspirated because you have smaller turbos that spool up faster. Now that I've lived with it for 6 months, it does feel like a turbocharged car to me. When I go back in the NSX, you definitely notice the difference with the normally aspirated engine. Now, one thing is I don't have Sport Chrono. That's pretty rare. The enthusiast usually wants Sport Chrono. What that gives you is rev matching. What you need, you definitely need Sport Chrono, I'd say, for PDK, because you don't get launch control without that Sport Chrono. So I have to heel toe all my downshifts. I don't have rev match. Typically, if you have, or definitely if you have Sport Chrono, you could put it in, I believe it's sport mode, and it rev matches for you. But I'm in sport mode right now. I have to do all the rev matches myself. Yeah, so getting back to Sport Chrono. I don't have it, so I have to rev match all my downshifts. Which I like, it forces me. I love heel toe, I think I'm pretty good at it. So it forces me to do it. The way you stay, the way you stay sharp is to keep doing it. I hope you can see okay. I had to put my sunglasses on. The sun is so bright. Now, wear and tear on the car, I've had 0 problems. I have a 3-year unlimited mile warranty. So Porsche gives you a 4-year, 50,000 mile warranty. For the CPO cars, you get whatever's left of that 4 years, 50,000 miles. And then after that kicks in a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty. So you could even buy some 997.2s at a Porsche dealership and get that, warranty. Now, as long as I don't go over 50,000 miles the first year, and I'm already 6 months into it and bought it with 8,000 miles, as long as I don't get it that first year, then I'm good. Then I could, I essentially get 3 years unlimited mileage. If I went over 50,000 miles, say next month, then the 2-year unlimited mileage CPO warranty kicks in right then. So because I knew I wasn't putting 42,000 miles on the first year on this car, that I would have 3 years unlimited miles. So I try to, this is a third car, the BMW M340i and my Jeep Grand Cherokee get the most mileage, and then this is fun. So the 4,300 miles I put on this car so far are all enthusiast miles. So rear tires, I think I only have a couple thousand miles left on the rear tires. They were replaced at about 6,000 or 7,000 miles from the first owner, and I think that's basically the dealer saying, oh, you know, your cars are at 8:30 seconds, you have to replace the tires. So that's what I'm going to attribute that to. And but for doing 4,000 miles, and there was already 2,000 miles on those tires of aggressive driving, I think rear tires probably going to last me 8,000 to 10,000 miles. And they're expensive because this has the optional 20-inch wheels. So Porsche always gives you ugly, like Mini Cooper, like a lot of other brands. The base tires, the small ones, are ugly. And that forces you to buy the upgrade almost. So the 20-inchers look fantastic here. So it looks like I'm driving a Carrera S. And most people that have a base Carrera change the insignia to the back to say 911 because they don't want people to know they bought the base model. And it almost forces you to get the 20-inch wheels. Downside to that, obviously 19s are skinnier, you get better acceleration, and it'd be cheaper to replace the tires. So 20-inchers, I'll have to look at the price, are going to be pretty expensive. I have the P0s, and they're good. Maybe I'll replace them with 4S's. I think that's the best tire out there, but I'm very, very happy with these P0s. I haven't driven this car much in the rain, if at all, but I didn't, you know, it drove just fine. This car is probably worth about $10,000 more now than what I paid for it. I see these cars going base models with around the 8,000 miles that I bought the car with for about $85,000. So I really got probably 10 grand off and about 5,000 or 6,000 more from my Audi S8 trade-in by doing it when I did, which was May 23rd of this year. And I love the car. I don't think there's much I would change about it. Does anybody want more speed and torque? Sure. So mods that I'm playing, the mod that I did so far is I had the front end PPF'd, the hood, the front bumper, and you know, I think I'll tune it at some point. I don't know when. I always believe in living with the car stock for a year or so, see what you like and what you don't like, and then start doing tuning. So I could use a louder exhaust. I like the sport exhaust. I like it in sport mode with the crack and burbles, but I'll tell you, I wish it was louder. It's a little disappointing, the sport exhaust. If you want sound, you're probably better off putting an aftermarket exhaust, and I think I'm going to do that at some point. And then, you know, maybe we'll tune it. We can make 400, 500 horsepower with this car pretty easily, and that's pretty good for a 370 horsepower base. So phenomenal car. I love it. It's worth every penny to me. In this price range, I mean, what can you get? If you wanted 997 GT3, which was probably my first choice, but I fell in love with this Miami Blue and the fact that it was a manual. And I wanted a back seat to take the kids out. I wanted to do some fun driving too. Once in a while, I can take it to work. As you know, I'm a commercial real estate broker. I do a lot of stuff for car dealerships, and you know, I can take this car to one of those showings because, you know, most of my clients are car people as well. 997 GT3, you know, to get a good one, I think you're looking at $90,000, $100,000. And again, this was a $75,000 price point. And it's everything I thought, and it exceeded my expectations. Like I said, I love this more than my McLaren 570S without counting money. Money, no object. And now when you count money, even better. All right, now that we're on radar, I think I'll end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.